Go. All right, welcome everybody to the Sam Crescent Art Stream. This is Sam Crescent. I'm broadcasting live from my studio in Southern California. I'm a full-time artist and illustrator working on my comic book Strength Monsters. I stream pretty much almost every day, and today's another day. Let's get started. So let's see. Today, I'm working on this page here, this panel. Before we do that, let's just get warmed up. I'm going to do some warm-up exercises for about a half an hour first. Pretty much what I do every day, part of my process. And I'm going to start by just drawing some straight lines here, as straight as I can. Let's do some verticals. Try and get these as straight as possible. Let's put some circles inside these lines here. Just working on warming up the hand, warming up the eye, being able to identify spatial relationships in real time, blah, 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 blah. Good, let's go the other way. I'm going to go pretty quickly. I talk about this all the time, though. We don't want the warm-up to become the day's work. So, and that can happen very easily if you get too into it. Let's do some verticals. I haven't been practicing the vertical circles. The idea with this drill is you want the circle to touch the lines. You want try to make each circle about the same size, and you want to try to keep a smooth, consistent drawing of your circle. Let's go back the other direction. So we're working up now. So let's see. I did the live stream pretty late in the day yesterday. Today it's Sunday, May 3rd, 2026. We are, you know, it's the morning, 9 a.m. It's kind of late morning for me. I'm up much earlier, but I did not get to the stream till now. All right, that's pretty good. Let's clear that. Let's just work some freehand circles now to warm up still. Trying to vary my size, trying to work my hand going in all directions. We can do the drill where we connect the circles. Some of these circles are not symmetrical, and that is a lack of dexterity and ability on my part. Next, we can work on putting circles inside of circles here. These are just warm-up exercises. All right, that's enough of that. Let's start working our boxes in perspective. For this one, I usually like to create a horizon line, go to a dark color, and it's that one. That one. That line was a little too curved. That one. And one more, we want to get most of the face of this box here. A little bit of the side. There we go. This one is the only one that's a little bit not too happy with. Let's try that one again. It looks a little too narrow still compared to the other boxes. We want even, symmetrical box. This is another drill. Connect the dots. I failed. Connect the dots.
I like yellow color as well.
All right, that should help with these boxes. Let's fix this box a little bit here. We've got some lines that are off. We'll do one more row. This row we're gonna go below the horizon line. And maybe I'm gonna try to use the dot method here. That box is not what do we want? We want a more as symmetrical as we can get. Now we want to do this box. Let's see how I'm bowing my line. That's not what we want. Nah. That's pretty decent there. Now we want to do this box. So maybe here, it's kind of, this one's kind of in the middle, a little bit rotated to this side, I would say. And that line's off. And then this box, we've got this one way over here. So we're going to see much more of the face of this box here. Redo that line. That's more like it. Okay, so there we go. Let's work on bifurcating these boxes here. Now I'm trying to find the correct perspective of each box, and we're going to find the middle. And we're going to bifurcate these boxes into subsections. Again, we're just training our dexterity, our ability to see perspective. And I've been doing for the last few days the boxes in this view and this view. We could do like a more down looking view, and maybe tomorrow I'll work that part of the warm-up. But you know, I'm working through these boxes a lot faster than when I started doing them 3 days ago. So that means my mind, my brain is adjusted to, that line's actually off. It's adjusted more to this exercise. And pretty much this is the process. I had a lot to talk about yesterday because a lot more time had passed between the two streams. even though I'm streaming every day. I streamed a bit later in the day yesterday. And so it felt like I was just on stream not that long ago. But that's okay. I'm going to work our primitive shapes inside this box. Or this is a more organic shape, but it's still pretty abstract and pretty simplified. But it's, you know, you can use the box to rotate a shape around as I'm doing. So, where are we at here?
I was about to go watch it, but I don't want to.
So I'm going to wrap up this exercise here by finishing off the rest of these. And then I'm going to put my heads on these guys. And then I'm going to work on my Bridgman studies, combining my primitive shapes and perspective with the design and drawings of George Bridgman. So you see now I'm just putting on the abstract head onto each box. One more here. This is pretty good. I'm moving pretty fast through this exercise. But it's also the third day in a row that I've done this exercise, which is part of why it's been going much easier for me. All right, I think I'm going to stop here. I could keep working on these and do these ones. And you can see how we can just keep building out these little mannequins. And these are the exercises that help me so I can draw from my imagination and without having to pull reference all the time. Pretty much the process now is draw from my imagination. It's faster, more efficient when it comes to making comic books. And then later afterwards, I'll pull reference when I can. If I have a little bit of extra time, pull some reference, look at it, and then use that reference to try to improve my drawing where I can. All right, one more. All right, what else? This last one here. Whoops. All right, that's it. We'll stop there with that exercise, rotating boxes, rotating mannequins. Let's go to some Bridgman. And 18 minutes in, we're cruising along pretty fast. Yesterday, I did a really long warm-up. Today, I'm kind of speeding through things. So let's see. This is from Bridgman's book. Constructive Anatomy, I think is what it's called. Something like that. We're going to do a torso study. This is a straight on illustration here. So we can use the box to start. So it's straight on like that. Bifurcated here, 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 here. Now Bridgman's got, I'm just going to use some abstract. That's the upper torso. Shape of the pectoralis. The other pectoralis here. Abs come down. External obliques come out like this. Hips into there. Legs start coming off here. Chest needs to be a little bit bigger. We've got the collarbone here. Shoulder there, here. Chest is coming there, arm here, starts the neck, and what else? Got the lats coming in like that. All right, let's clean this up a little bit now with the. We'll go with I'll go with a dark blue color, and we'll start to get this the lines the way Bridgman kind of designed them. He did an interesting striation right there. Let me see if this is going to look a little better with the G pen. Curves this up, and this actually goes down because the lower head of the pectoralis muscle actually attaches to the front of the bone of the arm, the humerus. It actually attaches the front of the humerus, and then the upper head attaches up on the clavicle and runs underneath the deltoid. He's got some striations there, so he's kind of separating out the different heads. And he's got this triangular head here, and he has this coming up and showing, he's kind of removed back the deltoid, and he's showing the attachment there on the collarbone, like that. And the collarbone kind of comes up and meets at the acromion process of the scapula, right there. Comes down, okay? And then we have the deltoid, which is coming off the acromion process in the first 1/3 of the collarbone. And that's coming down like that, there. Okay, and then we've got the bicep muscle coming out here. Now, on this side, we'll do the other side of the chest. This one, on this side, he's got kind of the skin pulled off, and he's showing more of the musculature. On this side, in his sketch, and this is literally just a sketch that he has, he's got more of the skin on the actual drawing, and he's showing less of the musculature that's of what's going on under the surface. So collarbone, he kind of goes like that with it, which is fine. So he's got some indication there, and then he's drawn the trapezius muscles coming up here, and he ends it here at the neck. You know, you'd have muscles coming down, but we'll do the same. We'll end it right here. So I'll just do that. And he didn't really draw in anything for the sternocleidomastoid muscles or anything along those lines in his drawing. He's got an indication there for something. So we'll go with that. Now, over here, we've got the deltoid, and he stops his drawing there because it's a torso study. Now, on this side, he's showing the abdominal musculature, and he shows kind of the shape here of this musculature being long, short, navel, and then a long striation here. Okay, on this side, we've got the flesh on there, and so he's just kind of indicating where the six-pack is, kind of. And he's got a big shadow area going on here. So this is all in shadow here. This is all in shadow here, turning down. And then we've got the lats back here in the ribs. He leaves some light hit there where here the skin's turning under, and then it starts to roll, the form starts to roll outward. Now on this side, this is where I think one of the most interesting parts of his drawing is. He's got an angle here, curves down and comes in, and he's drawn his kind of his rib cage slash serratus anterior muscles here. He's got a line coming down here, there. And then he's got the obliques here. Angles that. So this here is where I think he's got kind of an interesting shape that he put in here. I'm sure it continues like that. His kind of trails off, but he kind of designed this here, here. And then it's interesting how he has this kind of he's got this like line here with his overlapping indication there. It's kind of cool. He's got some like kind of striations like that. And there we go. That's one of the Bridgman drawings on that page. Look at another one. There's another angle here. It's very interesting. It's a little bit harder because he's got some foreshortening happening, some volume, some really serious volume going here, but he's got this, I'm going to start mapping this in here. And I haven't drawn this one in a long time. It's not as easy as the one I just did. I'm just freehanding right now. I'm not using any structure or any primitive shape under it. I'm just looking at his shapes and using my eyes to judge the spatial relationships between things. And I'm pretty close to what he's got. So now I'm gonna solidify this more. So he's got this interesting thing here. He's got a tube here, or a cylinder that he drew, that I don't know what that is. The bone probably, or something, the humerus bone. And then he has the bicep muscle here, and he's showing where it comes in and comes out. And we've got the bicep muscle there. Now he's got the coracobrachialis right here coming through like that. And this is all running under the pectoralis muscle, pectoralis major. This is the collarbone right here. Bring it up, okay? And there's striations there, and then there's your pectoralis major and minor down low. And you can see like it attaches. This is coming up, and it's going to attach on the first third of the humerus bone, and then this head's coming up and it's attaching to the collarbone. So this is actually a good view of where these muscles originate and insert into where they're coming from. Now we're putting this on here, and then this is going to come down. This is the tricep muscle here. And then right here is the latissimus dorsi. And then he's got a little muscle there and a little one here. And I think this one here is like the rhomboids or something. I'm not sure. I'd have to look it up. And I'm not sure what this is. And I put it in the wrong place. Let me move this. So now we're going with the external oblique slash rib cage here. And then this, he went and did a little muscle like that. So I need to look up what this one is and what that one is, because I'm not quite sure. This is a muscle that's on the back. Thinking would be one of the rhomboids, but I'll look it up later. I'm not gonna look it up on stream. I'll look it up later, and tomorrow I'll redraw this drawing again, and I'll let you know what it is. And so this is like interesting because he's got this, you know, it's just very volumetric looking, his design and the way these shapes kind of, the way he makes them wedge together. That's why I study Bridgman. Because he draws muscles and bodies the way I'd want to. That's probably the trapezius muscle right there. So now if we kind of look at this, if we break this down into some shapes, this is an interesting one here. So let's look at this shape here. Kind of like a form like that he's got. And this would be, let's make it some, he's got some planes going on it. So this would be kind of the top plane here, but it comes down like this. So he cuts it down kind of there, like there's a side plane to it. This shape. Let's fix that. So this, I'm taking this kind of thing here, and I'm just kind of trying to simplify what it is. As far as the basic way he's thinking about this shape, and then plugging it into his other shapes. Now, he's got it in 3 sections that all wedge in and out of each other. So like that. And then it's plugging into basically this here, which is a ball, right? So here we have like a ball here where the abdomen is, you know, that it's kind of, but the ball is more here. This is bad. Let me clean this up here. So the ball would be more coming out here and through here, you know, and this is latched onto the side of it, right? Because we've got this, he's got this indication here on his drawing of where it attaches. Behind it, this is also a really nice shape where it's like kind of a straight, I mean, it's because he used he goes with a straight and then a curve, and then he's just got a straight there. So it's straights against curves, which is why that shape that he made for the lat is so aesthetically pleasing. That's the coracobrachialis and the pectoralis major. So see this part here, I'm just kind of reconstructing what he did. Now, if we look at this, it's basically a box here that he made. Kind of like that. But what he did to make this box interesting was, he put this at an angle and curves it up like that. He wedged in the collarbone right there. Like basically wedged it into that box. He's got this here cutting into it. Coracobrachialis and biceps muscle cutting out, going under. And then this is instead of being here, he's got this kind of angle, another angle, and this one dips below and then comes back up into it. So you end up with this kind of really dynamic, really interesting shape indicating the chest. Now, if we wanted to, you know, where would the other chest muscle go, you know? Well, we'd have to figure out the collarbone here. I'm out of space, but be like that. We have the other side of it. Let me fix this part. And what I can do is I'll move this over. And then we can finish this. So this isn't in the book, what I'm drawing now, but this is one of the ways that I'll study from the book to try to improve or get better. Now, I don't know that's totally in perspective. I think it's probably off, to tell you the truth. I think it would need to be more turned, because this is very much showing this is basically right here. You know, we're showing the side plane of this here. We're showing the side plane of that here. And then it's turning away this way. So we're looking at this. It's kind of, I think we're okay, actually. Let's see. So we know we've got this shape here that comes like that, and wedges on to this ball shape, and we can break this up again, make it look like how it is. So I made this a little too small. Bicep muscle, tricep muscle. So if we're going to get the other side of this, you're going to have this like that. If we take from here, we know that we've got the abs coming in here like this. And we could make this arm. This would be coming out there anyway. Well, let's take from this. We've got this like that. We'd have the sternocleidomastoids here. Neck coming up. The voice box would be somewhere around there. Okay. And we'd be looking up at this head. Something like that. It's not perfect, but all right, that's cool. I'm going to stop there for the warm-up. Drawing torsos, drawing muscles, trying to get stuff to, I don't know what. All right. Let's move on and get the comic book done. That was a 38-minute warm-up. So I just went super long again because I put so much time into the Bridgman, but it is what it is. 30 minutes a day keeps the drawing sharp. Okay, so for this one, we got here. No, what's going on here? Getting timed out. Okay. Okay, so this one, let's name it Rocking. Let's see what it is. Lion art. Okay, so this guy, there's some stuff I forgot to do here. So let's get to the felt pen. Try a 5. He doesn't have his thing on his head or any of that stuff, so we've got to get that put on to him. Let me knock this down a little bit so I can see my new lines better. Let me see here. What does this guy's thing look like? Really not much to it. It's a cartoon, so it's basically just that. Let me fix this. It's still wrong. All right, so there we go. There's the serum that's pumping through him. And it's kind of got this piece here. Keeps it on there. We got like some bubbles and stuff going through here like that. All right, that's pretty cool. Might be a little too big. Let's just resize it here. There we go. That's more. Yeah, that's more what it's supposed to be like. Break up that line a little bit. A little bit of fur there. And then he's got a backpack on here that holds the serum. And then he's got his see this character. All right, so these things plug into the back end. So we've got to put on these the IV canister, his IV canisters that strap onto his forearm. And then this is pumping the serum in through his IV. So that was pretty easy. Let's just add a few line weights to this. That's fine. Now what we want to do is erase off the lines that we don't need anymore. Want to give this a little bit more weight. Because it is a form that's in front of everything there. Okay, so there we go. All right, so that takes care of Evil Robot, and that guy we want to merge selected. And let's name it Line Art Baby Monkey. And then we've got line art for rocking right there. So next we've got to get the brain monkey in here. He's right there. And let's get a folder made here, and this is going to be the P5 folder. All the finished line art goes in that. Let's get started with this brain monkey guy. So he's just here looking out. Get in what I know is going to be happening with this thing. All right, so let's draw his brain that sits in this jar. This character has the brain of the smartest scientists in the world plugged into his monkey brain, so he's actually super intelligent. And it's in a well, it used to be in a jar. Now it sits in this big gulp cup that was an exclusive promotion at a convenience store, and it's filled with energy drink. So he's super hyper active as a result. It's like a big glass mug that's on his head right now. Throw that down. And this character is not a lot to his body. I designed him. I gotta draw these lines slower or I get that issue. I designed him as a pretty simple cartoon. Let me turn off these guys so they don't interfere or influence what I'm doing. Sometimes when I have those on, I might draw in here or something to not try to impede on the other illustration, and that's not what I want. That's kind of all there is for that. And then his legs are just simple shapes, and it becomes more fur down here. Same thing now. We've got the fur, like he's got furry boots on or something. And now we just need to draw his hands and feet, which are the most difficult part of the whole thing. But I'm going to follow along with what I did here. Don't like that because it's doing too much of the same. That's better. Can kind of tuck that in, and the last one, put it there. No, I'm not going to do that. Just keep it as that. That's enough. Sometimes all the anatomy, so I'll go from torso. We've done head. I've done neck. We'll do torso. We'll do arms, abstracting it, using perspective, rotating those forms. Eventually, I'm going to get the hands. Hands are like almost the most important, though. Like maybe I should just skip and do hands for a while. You can draw expressive hands if you can just get right to it with your hands. Not be afraid of them. it's always helpful. And I procrastinate the hands all the time. That's whack. You know, what is this? Weird. I want to draw a hand, something like this. Let's just construct it out. Something here. And we'll kind of curl his finger up there. There, that's basically it. That'll work. So, I mean, a lot of it is just taking the time to construct the thing and not try to just pull it out of my imagination, because I'll most definitely start going a direction that's not going to work. And then if I just put in that underlying structure where I can see it, where I know where it is, it's helpful. And the reality is too, is that if you have the habit of structuring everything, I know everybody wants the Kim Jong-gi it, you know, where you just go straight in. The problem is if you're doing animation, if you're doing a comic book where you're trying to keep a character consistent page to page to page, and you have multiple drawings that all have to interlock and connect with one another, it's actually pretty imperative that you have your structure, because then those underlying forms, you can make sure that they're consistent. So you're not going to get drift over dozens of drawings. You start drawing ahead a little bit smaller, a little bit smaller. By the end of the comic, your character has changed. By the end of the animation, the drawings aren't hooking up anymore because you've moved the size of the head or the size of an arm or something like that. And that's easily you can get that proportional drift when you're not making sure that you're putting in the structure of the head, you're putting in the ball, you're putting in the oval, you're breaking apart those forms and making sure that they're consistently the same proportion every single drawing. When you're doing it where you're projecting those shapes and visualizing them in your mind and then drawing, it's very easy to visualize a shape and make it too small or too big compared to the last shape that you just drew. It's a different discipline, you know, when you're doing animation and you're doing comic books and you're doing narrative storytelling and you're drawing characters that you want to be able to link up one to the next page after page. The structure becomes even more important. So, and I know all those guys that do that straight in drawing, they all start by teaching structure anyway. Like they do a ton of it. That's how they got so good at that straight in, drawing straight out of their head, no underdrawing or anything. Personally, for me, I don't know that it looks impressive. I don't know that it actually speeds up their process, to be honest. Some of them claim that they can draw faster because of that. I'm not sure. I'm convinced of that. I don't know. I think that sometimes if they would have just drawn the shape in, they actually would have got the drawing out even more quickly than they did by trying to draw without putting in the structure first. I know a lot of times for me, I start slowing things down a lot when I have to visualize more than when you're just drawing drawing in. And then the whole thing is like, don't feel like you're a inferior artist or anything like that because your process is different from how another artist does things. Like, if it's all process, and some people, their process is going to be different than yours, and really you have to find your process and rinse and repeat that. And that's really what's important. And it's not like that one is going to be better. It depends on the result that you want. I mean, like, you can look at, for example, like Drew Struzan. Like, what was his process? Like, tight pencil drawing. He used photo reference. He did Drew Struzan, this is the guy that is the best movie poster guy, like probably one of the best to ever play the game of movie posters, right? Lots of reference, very tight, very tight pencil drawing, was not photorealism. It was more of a representational realism of what he was drawing. Okay. Then he would airbrush over the top of his pencils, and a lot of his pencils would be left visible if you knew to look for them. And if you look at some of his drawings, if you look at some of his pencil art, and he used to post it all the time on the Twitter X when he was alive, and it was sad that he passed. That was a legend gone. And I know he wasn't doing movie posters anymore, and I'm not sure what he was doing anymore really, but I think he was trying to do some fine art stuff. But I would have, I don't know. Anyway, it doesn't matter. He would post a lot of his preliminary work, and you'd see the tight pencil drawings you do, the thumbnails and everything, and then you'd see it develop into a tight pencil drawing what the actual poster would be. And then you would see those pencils, underneath his airbrush and his painting. So he'd airbrush all his colors in, his values, everything like that. And he would take it pretty much as far as he could with the airbrush, and then he'd go in with the colored pencils and do all his finishing work, his highlights, make everything pop, adjust his values and everything like that, and do that cool kind of, cross hatching or that line work that you kind of see in his painting. And that was it. That was his process, man. And if that was your process, I mean, you could draw a whole comic book that way. You could do a whole whatever it is you wanted to do. That process is actually a pretty efficient process, so that he could bang those paintings out, fairly quickly. I don't know exactly how fast he did them. I think he could do them, like, if he really needed to. I think he could do them in a couple of days. I think most of them probably took him a week or so, but maybe. I don't have his book, so I watched the documentary on him, and that's kind of how I reverse engineered a lot of his process, because they show him working, they show his work up close. You can really see it. And then I also reverse engineered a lot of his process by just following him on his X, and you can still scroll back those posts and look at them and see like what kind of those process drawings, and like how he was thinking about it and what he was doing. But man, he developed like a super cool style, and his way of painting and drawing is nothing the way I do it. But it doesn't have to be. Like, I still respect it like massively, and I love looking at it, and and that was the genius, man. What was so genius about his stuff was it was also very narrative. Like, he would capture the best parts of the movie or the best parts of the story, and even in the documentary, they say like some of his his movie posters were just like better than the movie. Like, you look at the movie poster, then you watch the movie, and you go, I wish that was the movie, what was on the poster. Like it's like he even knew, like, a movie that was, the original Masters of the Universe movie from the 80s with Dolph Lundgren and stuff. It's like he knew the vision of what it should have been, but limited by budget and special effects at the time. It was nothing like how good the Drew Struzan poster of it was. But it doesn't matter. Yeah, I love that guy's art. I mean, I've literally bought paperback books for no reason other than the cover is a Drew Struzan cover. Because they would put his movie poster covers on the paperback book versions. Like, they used to put out the like Ballantine book, like adaptation of all the movies that he did, and they would have his movie poster art on the cover of the book, which was super rad. But All right, I think that's it. And I'm not going to do anything more on this guy because I want him to stay in the background. And if I put a bunch of rendering and everything, it's going to make him more important than he actually is. We don't need to do that. And really, we can indicate it with the coloring, you know? Get rid of that. So that's enough for that guy. So that's pretty much it for panel 5. What do we have left on this page? Let me get the original sketch turned on and then off. P3, P2. Where are we here? P6. This is it. So this is what's left, is this. And then there's still some more detail that I have to go through. I have to make the panel borders, put in the backgrounds, and then flat this whole page. So there's a lot of work still. And this is going to be a lot of characters. So let's see. Should I start on this right now or do it tomorrow? We're at an hour and 2 minutes. I only did 20 minutes, though, going forward with the comic book. So let's work on this a little bit. Because I only did an hour. Let's move this stuff down here. P1, P4. These are all the layout panels. And so I'm just going to put them down here. And okay, we got all that stuff. Let's make a folder and let's call this folder the original sketch, original layout. All right, now let's just stick all the original layout stuff in that folder right now. What the heck? Why would you want to use emojis? Okay, so now we know that everything here we don't need to deal with. And then this stuff here is the next panel. So we want these characters, let's write what they are, background characters. Turn that off and well, holy cow. So it looks like I got all these guys separated out. Hey, that's going to make it easy, right? Kind of separated out. So let's do this. Let's do this alligator here. Now let's knock them down because we need to make a little more progress today than just what I've done already. And here. All right. Let's start on this guy. So we've got this alligator. What happened? It's on eraser or something. I think this layout's pretty okay, so I'm just going to start going for it.
This is.
And start getting this thing rock and roll. Let me skip this song. It's kind of, for some reason, the chimes on that one or something.
I guess you just gave it to me.
It's starting to give me a headache. This music is by a musician slash writer named David V. Stewart, and it's like you can stream it and stuff. It's
that's
Creative Commons, give him attribution, so I need to tag him or attribute him in the description of the video, which I'm attributing him right now too. I appreciate these musicians that do make music that we can use on stream. It's like makes things a lot better. Give them some teeth up here too. I mean, alligators look good when they have teeth, you know. And this is a cartoon version of this alligator. Of course, because this is a, for the most part, kind of a cartooned out comic book. You gotta blow my nose. Apologize. All right. Been cursed with bad allergies. Been dealing with bad allergies since I was a kid. I've done allergy shots. I've tried all that stuff, and it's not, nothing's really seemed to work. Now it is, the good thing about it is that I never get sick. Literally, I don't get the flu. I don't, knock on wood, knock on my head. I don't get colds, nothing. The reason why is because I'm always expectorating snot and phlegm out, and I'm produce so much mucus that it's like nothing can even penetrate or get into to my system. And so everyone in my family will get sick. They'll all get the flu, and I'll be fine. And it's been like that my whole life. So it's like one of those things. It's like a curse and a blessing at the same time, you know? So, yeah, I think, you know, thinking about Struzen and how he used to post on X, Twitter. It used to be called Twitter, and then Elon changed it and stuff. But there was a time when that was I actually made friends on there on Twitter back in the day, like a long time ago. Like people that I like actually talked to them like offline and interacted with and were really cool. But it's kind of like that whole platform just seems like really hostile. Like everybody's just in, and whenever I go on there, I kind of like just want to complain or something like that. It seems like that's what it's, the energy around it is about. And the bot that they have running that thing, the LLM that they have that pretty much runs that thing, is like super hostile as well. Like the way they've programmed that thing, it's like really snarky, really aggressive. I've but I kind of wonder about that platform too, like, so it's like you can live stream on that platform, but you have to pay for it. It's $8 a month. And but I kind of wonder, like, no artists are live streaming on there, you know, because nobody's gonna pay for that. But I'm kind of wondering, what if I did though? Like, I wonder, I'd be like one of the only ones. I wonder if there'd be people that would be, you know, want to watch someone, watch their process, watch them do stuff like this. I mean, I followed Drew Struzan on there and all the way up till he died, and I loved everything he shared, you know. But it wasn't. I watched on Instagram too. I think he did the same thing on Instagram. But I never see the Instagram stuff. I never see it. It would never show up in my feed or anything, but it'd show up on X all the time. So it's like the algorithm was a little different maybe, and I don't know what it's like now. Thinking I'm not gonna do it, but maybe I'll test it for like 1 month later on and see if it leads to an increase in just getting more people aware of my comic books, my work. The other thing I'd be worried about there is like, it's just, it seems like there's more weirdos on that one. Now, I don't know if it's because the other platforms hide the weirdos better. I think that's really what it could be, is the weirdos are better hidden on the other platforms, and they're less hidden because they're less censored on X. So it just like, but like really all those weirdos are on all the platforms, are just like suppressed, you know? Because, I mean, for example, I'm going to be at next Sunday, I'll be at Rose Bowl. And I have a booth. It's booth 827. You guys, if you want to come by, I'll be there. I'll be selling my stuff. You can come by, you can meet me, talk to me, whatever. I'm gonna get open like that. And, you know, I'm on X and oh, I'm gonna be on Rose Bowl and some like total like lunatic shows up. I don't know. You know. But this is a super easy character to draw because
What?
he's all made up, right? He's like an anthropomorphic creature. So you can kind of like just do what you want. Where like when I was drawing Rocking yesterday and just struggling so much with it,
That was a bad idea.
it's because he's based on real human anatomy, and if that's off, people's eyes they'll catch on to it right away. Like the eye will be like, "Oh, this looks weird." They may not know why it looks weird, but they'll know that it looks weird. And it's like, yeah, it does. Oh, I got to do something about it.
Hit you through the window? I feel like you could.
Yeah, I mean, even though nobody watches these live streams and have no audience, like I still kind of have to fight myself, like not to get too far into my head when I'm starting one of these, because I'm like, oh, what if I start drawing bad? Oh, what if I don't know what to talk about? Oh, what am I gonna say? I haven't read, studied, or consumed really anything since the last live. So if you read all the time, right, you have a lot more you can talk about because you're putting tons of information into your brain, and you know you'll have an opinion on it. You'll have something that you might be thinking about it, and you'll have something to say. So being like a voracious reader can be really helpful for what the type of live streams I do. But I'm not a voracious reader. I can sit down and read for 15 minutes and then I'm bored. And I want to go and do stuff. I like doing things. I don't like sitting still unless I'm drawing, but that's because I'm engaged in this other, you know, activity. It's like I get totally into it. I get into these little characters. I'm getting into like, oh, the texture of this skin. This is fun. I like it. It's not like reading. Reading, like you're not creating a world when you read. You're building it. You're building it in your head. You're building someone else's description of a world in your head, and that can be fun for people. It's not for me. I just don't care about that as much. But I have a list of books that I need to start reading. Like I've got these books on game design because I'm designing this game called Zombie Command, and reading all these different books on game development and how you weight a game and test play and everything. I might pick up a few things here or there that could be helpful to me as I develop my game and like make it a more effective, more fun game for people to play. So that's like an example of the kind of stuff I read now. I've been trying to hunt down this book called Control Without Confusion. It's called Control Without Confusion, Troubleshooting like four color screen printing process by Joe Clark,
Yeah.
spelled C-L-A-C-L Clark, R-K-E, and there's an E on the end of his name. It's not just Clark. It's like Clarky, but I think you still pronounce it Clark. You don't say Clarky. But it's a super rare book on four color process screen printing. Now, fortunately, I found the table of contents and the index. So I'm pretty much been able to reverse engineer everything that's in his book, and I'm building out my own manual that kind of basically goes through all the stuff that he goes over in his four color process book, because I am trying to become a master of four color process screen printing. I haven't done a lot of it still, so that's one of my goals this year, is to really hone in on the four color process screen printing and get some full color four color discharge ink shirts. Now, that book, unfortunately, it's completely out of print. Like, you can't get it at any library. I went to the library, and I actually had the librarian search it for me, you know, on the whole National Library Network. They don't have it. The only places that have it are the universities. It's at several universities. This Salem University in Oregon's got it. There's a school in Columbia University's got a copy. There's multiple universities spread all over the United States that have that book. Okay, so it does exist. But so in order, if I ever want to actually see that book, I've got to like call these schools and see if I actually physically go to their school, if I'd be able to view it in the library. And then what I'd want to do is I'd want to like try to photograph or whatever I can out of it, just to get the information. The other thing I could try and do is contact the author, maybe. I don't know. It doesn't seem like anyone's been able to do it. There is a copy of it on eBay, and it's like $500 some. It's like a 70-page manual. So it's a collector's item. Because there are people that just collect old screen printing manuals. Now, I'm not really, I don't want to start a screen printing manual collection of screen printing manuals. What I want to do is just improve and obtain the information that's in the manual. So that's my that's one of the books I'm on. That's another book that I've been on the hunt for. But one of the things that I could spend time on is building out my reverse engineered version of that manual, which is what I should do. You know, I worked on that actually a little bit yesterday, because I went to the library yesterday to try to make more progress on getting that manual, and I hit a dead end. I hit that brick wall there with it. So I'll see what else I can do, you know. And then the question is, well, would you actually fly to another state or drive? I don't know, you know, like maybe I would, or maybe I'll be up visiting my you know, with my wife, visiting her family in Washington. And I'd make the trip down to Oregon.
Would you run off to?
You know, one day with her, and we'd go check out that book, get the info, abstract that info, go on a mission, a recon to abstract the info that's on there. Let's see how that hand's going behind there. Let's see if we can just redesign this hand so he doesn't interfere with him in any way. And it looks like we can.
Buster go.
All right, that's pretty cool. We got this alligator dude done. Let's put the silhouette value on him. We can turn off the original understructure. And let's put the silhouette value on this guy. And we've got another character done. Yeah, so there's also I did find several other screen printing manuals and such, old ones from the 70s, the 60s, all different eras of screen printing that are available in the library system that I have access to. And so all I have to do is like put holds on those and have them sent to the local branch that's near me. And I do plan on doing that, and then I'm just going to abstract whatever the most important information is. So I just speed read, skim through them. Don't read it line for line like a book. Try and get through it and pull out the most pertinent information possible, and then move on. And so I am going to do that. There's a bunch of different game design, video game design books as well that I could get access to, and then I'm not buying mountains of books on Amazon. And I'm not opposed to buying books. I do have, and I've been curating my own private library for some time, but at this point I think capital could be better deployed elsewhere right now, and I would rather do that and just abstract the information via the free resources like the public libraries. And then, you know, I as far as purchasing goes, there's other things that I prefer to be buying right now than books. And a lot of these people that have tons of books, it's like they're just kind of weird, man. They're like, I don't know. They just get into collector's mentality where you want to collect everything and own everything, and they call themselves bibliophiles. And most of them are just these dorks that like it gives them this sense that they're smarter than they actually are because they got a ton of books, and they'll make videos about their books and everything. And I don't know, maybe I'm being too critical. Maybe I should make some content like that one day and just look at this book. Ooh, like all these screen printing books and stuff. I could make a video about each one, and as I extract out the information, and that would actually be some really high quality, useful content.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll do that. Most of the time with these book people, it's not about doing that. It's more about like flexing. You know, they're going to flex what they've got in their collection, and they're flexing, they're flexing the collection, what they've acquired. And it's not about actually sharing the information. That was the case, especially like with music. Now you're seeing that less. Like music is kind of shared so much now. Like there's those tapes on archive.org now. I forgot the guy that did them. The project is called No Tape Left Behind, and there's this dude, and I don't remember his name now, that like bootleg video recorded like 10,000 concerts, and the quality's actually good. Like he figured out like where the best place was to stand in the venue. He kind of improved his equipment over time. And I mean, this dude's got recordings of Nirvana from the 80s before they, released their first album. He's got recordings of like all kinds of bands that I've never heard of, that were just in the music scene at the time.
Yeah.
He's got recordings of, bigger bands like Depeche Mode from the 80s, from concerts, ballroom concerts, smaller venue shows. all kinds of stuff, and you can download them all right now on archive.org for free. I don't know how long they'll be available as far as the legality. I do think it was important that they digitize those. When they digitized them, they did clean up the sound a bit. So a lot of them surprisingly sound pretty good. You know, they're definitely listenable. And but that's more of the mentality of mindset of preserving culture, because the guy, what turned into what started as a bootleg thing that more or less was breaking the law, all these years later now, that project has preserved a part of culture in history and music history and the music scene in a specific era and time that would have been lost, would have only been known about to the people that were there that experienced it, and there's nothing there for another generation to know or see. And that's why I kind of when it comes to a lot of laws that pertain to intellectual property rights and trademark and stuff like that, kind of not into it, man. I kind of like, you know, break the law if you want to break the law, whatever. You do what you want to do. Of course, I would never tell anyone to actually break the law. Don't break the law, ever. But
so especially just like the people that have played the game more.
That's kind of I guess what that's sort of the weird thing about it, you know. And
Go into my settings. Video. Yeah.
all right, I think that alligator is pretty cool. We'll stop that one there. Let me see here. Should I do another one? What else I have to do is freelance work. I've got a sticker design I'm doing for a pretty big YouTuber, actually. If I named him, you'd know who well, there's so many freaking YouTubers that you may not know who he is, so I won't say that. But I've been needing to do a sticker for this guy for like, I mean, he's been begging me to do a sticker for him forever.
Right,
and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna do it.
Should be better.
All right, let's do this one too. Let me name this one Line Art Alligator.
Yeah.
And let's do this one. You know, we'll get this project furthered.
At least
I'll probably do some color adjusting too later today if I can. And if I'm able to do it, I'll live stream it, because I need to live stream more color work, more of the finished work, what the comic's going to look like when it's done. Because like I've talked in other streams, the problem is that this is not, yikes, this is not that impressive what I'm doing right now. It's not impressive enough to
Uh-oh. What? Dude, I just got tag teamed. That's crazy.
All right, I think this is almost there for the face. In the brain, I'm just literally just making up a squiggly, weird shape
That?
and not even worrying too much about it as far as, oh, does this look like an actual brain? Man, that's the thing I hate about this pen though, is when you go fast, it gives you that. I'm sure there's a way I could adjust that,
No.
but I don't want to mess with it right now.
Yeah.
So this will be the last thing I draw for now, and then I'm gonna take a break. And my son's working on a shed for me. He's building out a shed. I check on him, see if he needs help with any of it, see how it's going. And then I'm gonna
I just got on it.
work on the freelance stuff. And also I'm gonna set up the screen print room and set up some of the new prints I need to get done. And expanding the black and white glow in the dark charcoal glow in the dark prints. I'm gonna expand that out to 50, 60, 70 different options, and just get things kind of
Yeah.
dialed in for the conventions I have coming up for Rose Bowl. Then I've got a week off, and then I'm hitting up Phoenix Fan Fusion in Phoenix, Arizona. That one's gonna be awesome. I've got an awesome booth in Artist Alley. It's a corner booth. I'm super stoked because all in the past shows I haven't been able to do Artist Alley. I've had to pay for a full size booth. Super expensive. It's still been profitable, but if I can do even the same revenue that I've done in the past there, which has been consistent out there, I love Phoenix.
Okay.
It's been consistent, so if I can get that same revenue, it'll be a bigger payday for me because I've been able to cut the overhead further, hopefully. So
Make sure I don't.
that's kind of where the situation is with that. And then I've got to get geared up. I'm going to be at DesignerCon, and I got to get geared up for that. I really want to debut a bunch of my Lumalore art at DesignerCon. I'd be the only one that's got it. I'm one of the only artists that I know that even knows about Lumalore paint, and so that would be awesome. But that's going to be I don't know if I'll be able to. Like, I'm still waiting for my spray gun. I'm waiting for all my kit and everything to come, and I need all of that gear first to be able to start painting my Lumalore. And hopefully, it comes soon and I'm able to start doing those Lumalore pieces. I'll be so stoked. And I'll be able to design that. I'll be able to debut that at DesignerCon. And man, would that be an awesome thing to showcase there. So, and I'm super happy that DesignerCon has come back to California, that they're doing a California show again. They were a really good show when they were in California. I did all the California ones all the time, and then they moved it to Las Vegas, and I went out and tried to do the Las Vegas one, and it was awful. There was nobody there. There was no attendees. I don't know how they're saying that that's their flagship show when they just don't have, the people aren't coming to Las Vegas. They're just not. The local economy in Las Vegas is really struggling right now. And so the local economy is not really going to support DesignerCon, which is, these are designer toys and stuff is what it's known for, like expensive toys and, collectibles, Fube, Japanese, stuff, the hand painted figures. I mean, I love Designer Con, but and I love Designer Con because it's very much like it's art centered. It's in the past, it's not been really that much of a celebrity thing, but the last couple, like there's these brick bears or bear bricks, whatever they're called, bear bricks or something, which it's just this plastic bear that they wrap in
I'm being tag teamed.
a celebrity wrapping and sell it, these bear bricks, and they'll usually have this sort of like they made like a Backstreet Boys edition, and so the Backstreet Boys will be there selling their bear bricks, and I just don't get it, man. And it doesn't, like, the people that show up to buy a Backstreet bear brick, they do not shop the floor of the show. They get their bear brick and they walk around and look at things, and then they leave. It's not it doesn't turn into much sales. It's sort of a problem though that's happened with a lot of conventions as they become more celebrity driven, where the convention, the celebrity goes to the convention, and the convention has to negotiate the terms with the celebrity, and it's pretty much like the convention's taking on all the risk when it comes to the celebrity. Like the celebrity will usually have a minimum that has to be paid. They'll usually have accommodations in the contract, like you have to provide this level of travel, this level of hotel, etc., etc. And then they negotiate. This is what I'll do. I'll sign, all day Saturday or all day Saturday Sunday or from 3 to 5, and I'll do a photo op. They negotiate it all, and then from there, it's usually a situation where the celebrity they have and the bigger the celebrity, the more negotiation, the more leverage they have, right? Because the convention's like, the way the convention makes the money is they pay the celebrity the minimum, then they figure out, okay, so how much do we have to charge for these photo ops? How much do we have to charge for these signatures? What is the celebrity's rate for the signatures? And then a lot of times it's like once they hit a certain threshold, it's all contract to contract. So it's never going to be the same. But there can be situations where once they hit a certain threshold, the celebrity and the convention split the profit on everything else the celebrity signs. We are talking about situations where these celebrities can walk away with $10, $20, $100,000 in a weekend from these shows. And the convention, a lot of times the celebrities will break even for them, but they'll still make their money off selling the floor to the vendors, so, and they'll also hope that they'll make their money selling tickets for people to do the celebrity. Like the ideal goal is you break even or profit off the signatures and photo ops with a celebrity, and then you make your profit off the attendees and the vendors. The problem though with all these bigger conventions going more celebrity based is you end up with a convention. I've had this happen where there's guys that will act like they can't afford anything. They don't want to buy anything. They love the art. Oh, I wish I had enough money. I'd buy this. Oh, maybe I'll get this tomorrow. And then you find out that these dudes are dropping $200, $300, $500 on celebrity signatures, photo ops, meet and greets, all manner of things like that, right? And then your thing that's like $30 or whatever is out of their budget
already, dude.
So it's one of those things where there's a few shows that have been really profitable for me in the past, but I've seen the revenue slowly deteriorate from show to show. And then there's still profitable shows, so I'm still showing up, but I'm kind of going, I don't know how many more years this is going to work. I got to come up with another plan here, because I don't know that I can be able to still rely on this in a few more years, or if it'll even be move the needle as far as just helping sustain me and my family. Now, when it comes to what I'm doing now, that's why I'm doing this. I'm all right. Well, I can talk to people and get my art seen by people every day if I live stream every day, and if I build out my comic and I build out my streaming platform and I finish my cartoon, I'll have something that people can engage with outside of conventions, outside of all of the other traditional ways of reaching people and making art sales. All right, let's just do let's go to the G Pen. Let's kind of just put in some little things to hold him together a little bit better. I don't really want to do it too much more with this guy. I think that's it. So we got that one, we got that one, got the other panel. So we started making a dent on this panel 6. So if I'm not back later today to do a coloring session, I'm gonna turn all these on. I better label what this is. Brain Monkey. If I'm not back later today to do a coloring session, I will be here again tomorrow. And pretty much I'll be streaming every day until May 10th, Mother's Day. I'll be at Rose Bowl, and I probably won't be able to stream. So that'll be like the one day that I'll probably miss. But if you want to come to Rose Bowl, I'll be there. I'll have my art. Come by, say hi, hang out, whatever you want. Thanks for joining me on this live stream. I'm cutting it off. I'll see you later.